Hello my precious people, I welcome you once again to my YouTube channel where we treat mathematics, Olympiad Mathematics. So today we shall continue with our exercise, and which is 7 factorial multiplied by 6 factorial equals n factorial. Find n. From here, we know that 6 factorial is 6 times 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. Now, since we have 4 times 2 to be 8, so we remove 4 times 2 from that 6 times 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. We remove 4 times 2 and replace it with 8. So we now have 6 factorial to be equals to 8 times 6 times 5 times 3 times 1. Now, since we have 6 factorial to be 8 times 6 times 5 times 3 times 1, remember we replace 4 times 2 by 8. So we are going to replace 6 by 3 times 2 as well. So we have 8 times 3 times 2. That 3 times 2 is that 6. Then times 5 times 3 times 1. That will now be our 6 factorial. 6 factorial equals 8 times 3 times 2 times 5 times 3 times 1. Now, since 6 factorial equals 8 times 3 times 2, remember that 3 times 2 is that our 6. Then times 5 times 3 times 1. And from here we have 3 times 3, which we can replace with 9. 3 times 3 equals 9. So since 3 times 3 is 9, we will replace 3 times 3 with 9. So we have 6 factorial equals 8 times 9. That's the 3 times 3 times 2, then times 5 times 1. That's our 6 factorial now. Now, since our 6 factorial is now 8 times 9 times 2 times 5 times 1. Now, the last 3 digits, 2 times 5 times 1, if you multiply them together, will give us 10. So, since 2 times 5 times 1 equals 10, we now have 6 factorial to be equals to 8 times 9 times 10. So 6 factorial equals 8 times 9 times 10. Then 7 factorial times 6 factorial will give us 7 factorial times 8 times 9 times 10, because 6 factorial is 8 times 9 times 10. So if we plug in 8 times 9 times 10 as the 6 factorial, we have 7 factorial times 6 factorial to now be 7 factorial times 8 times 9 times 10, which will equal to n factorial. Now 10 factorial is 10 times 9 times 8 times 7 times 6 times 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. That is 10 to, you multiply 10 down to 1. Multiply 10 down to 1. So we can just, instead of multiplying 10 down to 1, we can just say 10 times 9 times 8, then times 7 factorial, because 7 factorial will give us 7 times 6 times 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. So they of multiplying those one, we just limit it to 7 factorial. So we have 10 factorial equals 10 times 9 times 8 times 7 factorial. Now which will now give us 7 factorial times 8 times 9 times 10. That is our 10 factorial. Then since 10 factorial is n factorial, then the factorial cancels out factorial, then we have n equals 10. N equals 10. And that's our final answer. Our exercise for the next class will be a square plus b square equals 58, and a plus b into bracket square equals 100. Find a minus b into bracket square. Next class we'll treat this together. Don't forget to click the subscription, notification and like button, and to share the video with your friends. Thank you.